So, everyone knows me that my wife's gone through a bit of time for the back, so she's working through it. She's doing much better, but she likes things neat, so she's been keeping everything really neat. So I decided that as a favor to her, as a nice surprise, I was going to go and I cleaned my car out. I'm like, I'm going to go clean Lisa's car out because she needs her car cleaned out. So I go ahead and I clean it out. Now, as I'm cleaning it out, my wife, she's very particular. She's particular about it. And so I know intuitively that something I'm going to do when I clean out this car, from the goodness of my heart, pure love, is just not going to resonate, okay? So I come home, I go to the gas station, I come home, and I'm in the driveway, and I'm cleaning out the car, and I have this, reorganize stuff, and I'm cleaning all the plastics, okay? Then there's some leather, but I'm just making sure I get out the plastic. Again, how do I see it? I see it as, what a wonderful thing. Yeah, what a loving act, okay? So she comes out, and she goes, oh, you're cleaning my car. And I said, yeah. And she goes, what are you using to clean my car? Okay? It's just her. Again, I just want you to know that there's nothing wrong with her. This is just her. This is just where she's at. I don't want you using that to clean my car, because she's particular. And again, there's nothing wrong with it. So don't do that, don't do that. So of course, I have this moment, and I'll tell you why I'm telling the story. I have this moment where I'm just like for 10 seconds, I'm just very, very upset. For how could you miss this? How could you not see this? And I stopped. And she knew right away, and we went in the house, and she looked at me, she goes, you're disappointed in me, aren't you? And I said, no, I'm not disappointed in you. I'm disappointed that I was right. I'm disappointed that I knew ahead of time you were going to have a problem, because that's just normal for you right now. And I knew that, and yet I still reacted. I knew that this was going to happen. And the reason I tell you that is because in that moment, I was able to go through a total gyration in about probably a minute. Because when she said to me, you're disappointed in me, aren't you? All I could think about was the whole visit that I had with you guys. And how I felt when that patient was disappointed in me. And what a burden I felt. And immediately, I didn't want my wife to feel any of that. I wanted to be very clear. I'm not disappointed in you. Don't feel bad about that. You're being who you are. You're doing the best you can. And I was able to really be with her in that, and within a minute or two, the situation was totally over and fine. It didn't go anywhere. Okay? That's how you can move through something. Okay? When you can stay conscious of, how would I want someone to treat me if I did something that disappointed or upset them? That's how I'm going to treat them. And I'm telling you, there's no word to describe what a deepness in the relationship happened. Why? Because she can now trust me even more to be kind and forgiving and appropriate. She feels safer. She feels safer. And that just directly relates to the class last week. I felt safe in finally having that experience, that it'll be okay. Even though that one moment was a certain way, that it would be okay. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. You would never want another person to hold an act that you performed, okay? No matter when it was, whether it was 10 years ago or 1,000 years ago. None of us want our most unconscious, horrible acts held against us. And the power of forgiveness and acceptance, to not just forgive someone for what they did, but accept that even as horrible as it was, they're really trying to do the best they can, and they're just falling so far short of what is acceptable by society. How must that person feel deep within themselves, knowing that the best they can do is so far below what is acceptable. They know it. They know somewhere in themselves that they're doing something that's that off, that's inappropriate, that's that hurtful. They just can't stop themselves from doing it. That's why it takes bigger people to step in and say, I'm not in agreement with what you did. You know it wasn't right. You're going to have to deal with that when you become fully conscious of just how damaging it was. There's nothing I can do to you that's going to hurt more than you becoming aware of what you did. Did you get that one, everybody? There's nothing anyone can do to anybody else that is more difficult than that person becoming fully conscious of what they did.
But do you really have to have that discussion? I mean, you're saying, what you just said sounds like you're saying to them.
No,
but,
you're not.
Okay,
you're
because
not.
that's the whole thing.
No,
because
you don't
I
have
discovered
to.
that after being divorced for 33 years, that pretending whatever he did, it doesn't matter because he has difficulty relating to me.
Right.
And I found out when I pick up the phone and ask him just a crazy question because I know he knows the answer, and pretending like nothing ever happened, he relates. But he can't do it one-on-one. It's his problem.
That's right. It's not yours.
But you don't have to go through
No. That's an internal dialogue.
Okay.
That's an internal dialogue that you go through to come to peace with it. Okay. Yeah, that's great. I'm glad you made that clear, Jim.
Great. Talk about the timelessness of that compassion. Because I was always told to be, I've always had half of it, where you're supposed to be compassionate for people. But the other half of that is the timelessness of it is the compassion that you get back for all the times in yourself. And all that time period that those incidents happen, you can start chipping away those things one by one, those times in which you didn't receive compassion and you didn't give it back to yourself. So you're exchanging it by giving them compassion, and then you're healing a little bit at a time the compassion you never gave yourself for screwing up. Quote unquote screwing up.
That's right. That's exactly it. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know? And that's why when I'm doing deep healings with people that are recovering from, very intense physical trauma in this lifetime, I tell them, a part of this is when you let everybody off the hook, okay, you let yourself off the hook. That you can't get off the hook for everything you've ever done that you don't remember, okay, from other lifetimes, if you don't take the step and let everybody else off. It doesn't work that way. Love is love. If we're going to enter a space of love, let's enter a space of love. And let's let love do what love does. Let love make those decisions about other people's lives that have done things to hurt you or harm you. Okay? It doesn't mean you have to stay in a relationship with them. Okay? It doesn't mean you have to continue to try and have an intimacy with them. No. It's just in your separation, in your establishment of a new rapport, you're letting love rule the day. And all I can tell you is this. I have received more healing from love than I ever have from anger. I have received more healing from love than I have ever received from disappointment. I have received more healing from love than I have ever received from being stubborn or fearful. It's been consistent.
For me, I think of it because, I'm coming through a situation where I had a tremendous amount of anger and knew immediately, it was with a family member, I couldn't afford to hold on to it for a minute. The visual for me is when I'm angry, and there was a time when I used to hate, I'm forging this really thick, strong iron chain. And I'm attaching it to that person, and I'm attaching it to myself, and I'm wrapping it around myself, and then I'm jumping off a cruise ship into the ocean, thinking that I'm going to float, and thinking that I'm going to be okay. And it never was. It never was. And so I had to find some way to break it because how long did I want that to drag me down and impact my life and take away my happiness and my joy? And it was like he said, that didn't mean that I had to have this person over for dinner, or go out for coffee, or talk to them at all. And it also allowed me to walk away from that relationship with some peace.
Right on.
Not with bitterness, but just some peace. And this is something that's been, recent. And so now as stuff continues to come up and that I need to deal with, it's just housekeeping stuff. It's paperwork, it's phone calls, and I don't let it go any further than that. It's just cleanup for a time, and I don't let it have any more. I don't give it any more energy that I would, at least emotional energy that I would dusting off a living room table. So, but it was getting to that place where I realized all I have to do is like just drop the chain, just quit picking it up. And for me, that visual was really helpful in doing that.
That's an amazing visual. That's really that's a great interpretation of that. And really, when what it comes down to, guys, is, as we know, is we're energy, all right? And you can either bond yourself to your experience with love, okay, and be light and healed and changeable, or you can bond yourself to your situation with fear or hatred or one of those other emotional patterns. And that's why the practice is so clear in saying, stop having an emotional bond with your situation. Be with the situation from a place of love, acceptance, and peace. Not just because that's what's best, but it's because it's what's best. It's really what's best. So, the last reflection question was, and we've already covered this, which is amazing. If I am an authority figure in someone else's life, how can I let go of a sense of power and control that I may have while still being effective in my role? And my little story about cleaning my wife's car is a great example of that. And Carla's is a great example of that. And Linda's is a great example of that. Mary Lou.
Add something to it, because I have had a situation over most of my life, and something that was really helpful was writing a letter of forgiveness to that person and taking some time to really do deep thought with your words, lovingly write this, and seriously, and wishing them compassion, wishing them love.
I would never wish them feel well. I would never wish, not that I'm a saint, but I would never wish them no well.
No, but wishing them for compassion, to have compassion in their heart and love in their heart, so they can be, so they were able to enjoy what God has provided, and really working on the words and doing several drafts of that, because I wanted it to come. It was coming from my heart with love, and I wanted to present it with love, and that was a great step to releasing that. And even if you don't physically give the letter to that person, you have released it.
Yeah, it's the energy of it.
Right.
Remember, guys, it's all a practice and an exercise. It's not about having to do it in the physical sometimes. It's not. I mean, look at what we do in this room and all the things we see happen outside of this room that seem to be sequentially tied to it. Okay, it's a good exercise, okay, for you to go through.
It's a powerful exercise, because just like journaling,
Yes.
the writing, it engages the brain in letting it go.
Well, and maybe go one step further when we're done writing to the other person, cross out their name and put our name at the top.
Yeah, again, it's all the same.
I kind of wonder, I don't know if there's an exact answer for this, but is it, like she was saying, if you try to communicate with that person, the forgiveness that you're offering or something, and I was just wondering if that, you might not be able to say it's always a good idea to do so, because like if you're coming off to them as being bigger than them, they can end up, it can affect their pride, and they can get resentful, and I don't know if that would make it worse. They might, you might be hoping that they'll look at themselves, but they might not have the ability to look at themselves.
Yeah, and again, I think what Keith is saying is that, in your best attempt to be loving and forgiving and to generate some introspection in the person, that they may take it as feeling bad about themselves.
Or also prideful too,
Yeah.
which is feeling bad about you.
Yes.
They feel attacked.
And again, I think that all we can do is come from the most loving, honest place we can, and whatever effect it has.
You sort of have to get a feel maybe for that person and the situation.
Yeah. And there could very well be times when again, the letter is written but not sent. Okay? But there also is times when that person really needs that, where they need to be forgiven. They need to know that you're okay with it. They need to know that.
Because you're placing an intention from your
Yeah,
heart
you're
with
placing
love,
it right.
and that's what it's all about.
Yeah. And some people are going to get it. Some people aren't.
But I wonder, should you be afraid that it's not going to be taken?
Absolutely not.
But,
Absolutely not. Because if your intention is to be loving, you're not responsible. You can't. Otherwise, you're letting fear and insecurity take precedent over love. If you're truly coming from a loving place and a forgiving place, you don't have to worry about what effect it's going to have. You don't. Because if you start doubting that, then you're starting to run the whole thing backwards. If they feel that way because of a genuinely loving, forgiving letter, then that's something they need to feel and think about. And if that person is angry or upset with the person who sent them that letter, then that's something they need to work through.
And I keep thinking back to that woman the person that wrote you that letter. It may have all been about them and had nothing to do with you. You just pushed one of their buttons that brought
It could have
back
been,
something else.
right? But if it wasn't in me, I would have had nothing but compassion. So again, and again, what would all of our lives been like if this one without that story and that awareness and that release? I've had so many people that I've shared that story with that are they're laughing about those words. Remember those words? Trust the map. We went over trust the map. Trust the map. And I have so many people that I tell that to now, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's so amazing! How could I have not seen that?" It's just such a effective lesson that came from that class. That all of us can hold now and realize, we gotta trust the man. We gotta trust the man. What time is it?
It's 7:25.
Wow, where'd that class go? So I want to take some time for the chamber here, okay? I want to leave a little bit of time for that. And I want to ask Keith, what brought you here tonight, Keith? How did you hear about us? What brought you to come see us?
Well, I constantly, I study Buddhism. I always look at myself, and I don't do Buddhism so much anymore, but I study Non-Duality, which is sort of what I think more of it, but it Vedic Dharma, and it's all over the internet. So I read stuff that people write about it, and then I question my own reality and try to get in touch with the absolute rather than the relative, or not to one elimination of the other, but to resolve it too. And so I do that all the time. And I have a friend that sometimes I discuss these matters with, and he's more of a control type mind. Right? And but anyway, he told me that he had heard of this of you, and he had read your book. And he didn't totally grasp it, but because the control type mind. But I started reading. I got it, and I started reading it. And I was really interested right away, just to meet somebody that. When I saw your website, I could relate to what you were saying.
trying to say in words anyway, right?
Yeah. So I just wanted to come and see what.
Wow.
See what
Yeah, it's great.
We just, I mean, we're so glad you came because you're obviously a serious student. You know, you do your work and you study and you give it contemplation. And I mean, we're really happy and flattered that you came and are a part of our group with us. So, well, I also noticed you have a crutch.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say. I asked about the insurance when I was covering this, and I might make the attempt of getting reimbursement, which is how it works for insurance, to try your chiropractor. But I've been dealing with back trouble for quite a long time, since into the late 90s, and then it got a little bit worse. I hadn't needed a crutch up until October. Well, actually, in October I had a car accident. It was just very slight, very tiny bump in the rear end. But over the last few months, I started needing a crutch because it's just gradually gotten worse. Finally, it's kind of settled down to where I don't think it's getting any worse. I can't tell for sure. So anyway.
Okay. So is everyone okay with Keith being in the chamber tonight?
Yes.
Yeah, I might not be able to stand up though for more than half a minute.
Yes.
We'll just put a
I
chair.
don't want to be special, sit down. You know, go crazy.
Sit down. Come on, sit down. All right, everybody, let's build the chamber around Keith here.
Yeah, this muscle here gets real tight.
Yeah.
Then I have to stretch it like that.
Well, let's just let's see what love can do. All right. All right, everybody. I want you to tie in. I'm going to be moving around a little bit with Keith here, so everyone tie in. Okay. So Keith, the first thing that we're going to let love just clear out of you is just this whole notion of accidents. Let's just let order and synchronicity, even though we cannot understand its meaning or its ways sometimes, let's just really let that reestablish itself in your life. And I'm going to I really feel like the doubt is going to be taken out of your being. And the doubt is that crutch. You don't need doubt to get your way through life anymore. You don't need doubt to help you become a better student of love and life. You don't need doubt to oppose you to truth, to strengthen your will to follow truth. It's in you, Keith. You know the truth in your heart. You know the order of life in your heart. You don't need to keep trying to wrap your head around it, because you've already wrapped your heart around it. You know it exists. You don't need to be afraid of it. You don't need to be afraid of what others think, of what you think, or how you see it. You don't need to feel isolated or alone in it. Yep.
Our family.
This is just fear of inadequacy. Come on, Keith, let it go, brother. Just let it go. You got love all around you. Why do you want to take it away from you? Let it wash it away. There it is. Fear of inadequacy. Clear it right over that left kidney. Right there. Come on, let it go. There it goes. Come on. We are all here right with you. We don't have anything against you at all. We're with you. There you go. Come on. Keep squeezing it out of there. There you go. Practice in your heart, brother. Get out of your head. You're already in the most important place. Don't let your doubt take you out of your heart. Don't let your doubt make you question your source, what you're already one with, what you're already from, what you'll always be a part of forever. Clear out all the not goods and not good enoughs. Clear out all the not goods and the not good enoughs. Everyone say that with me. Clear on the
Clear
road.
on the not goods and not good enoughs.
Right on.
You are being of love and light, Keith. You're part of the family.
There you go. Releasing all the support systems of your body that are based on fear and chance and replacing them with the ones that are based on order, knowing. There it goes. Beautiful. Wow. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Keith. Thanks for showing up, man. Thanks for showing up.
No insurance required.
No.
Just love from the heart.
You can always afford to just do this and you'll get better. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for sharing this. You know, again, when you're a better person, the world's a better place. There's no denying it, okay? Without you guys being here, there'd be no reason for me to be here. So thanks for being here. See you next week. Thank you again, Greg, for the blue.